All right. Okay, so we'll open the Economic Development Committee meeting Tuesday, April 4th, 2017 at approximately 6:33 p.m. LakeCAM is taping. No one is present. Is anybody here at the table taping? I see no devices other than a calculator. You're not taping, right?
No.
Put your hands where I can see them back there. Okay, so our first order of business is to approve meeting minutes from March 7th, 2017. We've provided copies of these minutes via email. We also have a printed copy stapled to our agenda. Does anybody have any comments, questions, changes?
They look good.
None, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries, it's unanimous. Number 2, we're going to get an update on our SBA workshop that's scheduled for May 24th, 2017.
Okay, so I have coordinated with the representative from the SBA out of the Massachusetts district office in Boston, and also with Eastern Bank and with the Chamber of Commerce. So the library was open on May 24th. We wanted to make sure that we held it later in the month just to make sure that we had enough time to promote the event. So it seemed to work, and I got a couple of draft flyers from the SBA that they have used previously for this type of program, and it's going to need to be tweaked a little bit because we'll be involved. I want to make
Sorry
sure
about that.
That's okay. I want to make sure that the town is included in the flyer, and the Chamber of Commerce is included in the flyer, Eastern Bank is included in the flyer, but this is, if you just want to look at that and pass it around, these are a couple of the different flyers that they pulled together for that program. So it's just going to get tweaked a little bit to include more partners, and Valerie is probably going to do a brief welcome from the chamber. I think that you should start off for the town.
Okay.
And then they gave me their PowerPoint. It's typically a 2-hour PowerPoint presentation, and he said he scaled it back to about an hour and a half. I'm going to see whether he can scale it back a little bit more than that, because I would like the bank to have an opportunity to spend some time speaking, because the whole premise behind Eastern Bank being involved is May is Small Business Month, and Eastern Bank rolls out a lot of different programs during the month of May for small business. So we're going to kind of present it as a meet your local banker kind of thing, because they have a presence here in town, and I know that the branch manager has committed to attending, and I am hoping that the business banker will attend as well. He covers this area. He sits in Sharon, but he covers this area. He's actually the guy that I worked on the Baldy's project with.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to tweak this because I would like to be able to begin promoting it within a couple of weeks. So my question is, if I get a draft flyer together, who's going to eyeball it just to give it a blessing? Want me to
happy to
email it to
proofread
you?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll shoot it over to you, and then we'll get it out to the chamber to promote. The SBA is going to promote it. Eastern Bank will promote it. I'm hoping that we can, I don't know whether putting it on the town website will, if that's going to generate anything. Seed will promote it because we're included in the SBA presentation, and usually I just give like a brief blip about the organization and the type of services and programs that we have. So that's pretty much it. It's underway. I just don't have anything for you to look at specific to May yet.
No, that's fine, that's fine. I mean, we're just looking for an update, and again, I think the last time you had somebody come in from your network, so
The
to speak.
SBDC, yep.
Right, we
Yeah.
had a great event, so I
Yeah.
think that you know, this looks like it's kind of, for lack of a better phrase, kind of like a canned presentation that they're doing in different places. So I'm sure these folks are really polished and good at what they do, and they'll be able to field the questions that folks have coming into it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I just want to lighten it up a little bit. That's all I want to do, is just yeah.
Maybe it was locked on the other door, who knows?
So I just want to
Yeah.
lighten it up a little bit and not have it be so, because this is
Right.
extremely canned. And I find that when it can be kind of a more, not necessarily interactive, but more on the interactive side.
More questions from the,
Yeah,
shape it to
there's
the
just
needs of the-
participation, and
yeah.
it just makes it a lot better. I mean, this is really good information to have, because a lot of people don't understand everything that the SBA can do for them,
Mhm.
for business. But I just need him to rein in the boring part of it, because it can be,
Droning on.
yeah, it can be kind of boring. And this guy is relatively new from the SBA. I haven't seen him do this presentation before.
Yep.
So I'll work with him to see if we can kind of lighten it up a little bit.
All right. And anything we can do if we have to, like, throw firecrackers at them or something to,
Yeah.
that's probably a little extreme, but.
Yeah.
Throw
So I
fruit
want to
at
do
'em, rotten
food.
fruit.
We're going to do, Eastern Bank is going to buy food. We're thinking that Baldy's will probably do some sandwiches and
Yep.
chips and stuff like that. So maybe I'll get some desserts from the bakery. So that way, usually when you offer a free program that has food, that typically tends to generate some interest.
Yeah.
Right. So do you want to give us just a brief overview of what their whole spiel is? I mean, I'm just curious. You
Of
say
what
it's
the type of presentation
Yeah,
that they're
just-
going to
just
do. So the whole
maybe-
premise behind the SBA PowerPoint is, the SBA is one agency, but it has many different partners. So it works with, the Small Business Development Center Network is an arm of the SBA, and they're actually the organization that had put on the marketing workshop for us, which was well attended. Cliff had done that. So they provide information on the SBDC, on SCORE, Counselors to America's Small Business. They're another agency that provides assistance free of charge to small businesses. It's small business consulting. And once in a while, they'll hold workshops. The Center for Women in Enterprise is another organization that's an arm of the SBA, and it's not just catered towards women. They have programs, obviously, that men also benefit from their technical assistance that they provide. They provide information on all of the SBA loan programs, which there are a number of them. They cover the micro lenders that are in the state. Seed is a micro lender, so we provide small business, really small business financing, but they also go over they provide information on the certified development companies like Seed and others that are in the state that provide commercial real estate financing, so they do a blip on that. And that's pretty much everything that's in here, but it's a lot of information to
Sure.
take in, and I think it's too wordy.
Sure.
So, yeah,
Yep.
I mean, just giving
No,
kind
that's
of
interesting. I mean,
flashpoints.
I didn't necessarily know. I mean, that's why I asked. I thought it.
Yep.
I mean, plus, I mean, it's good to a certain degree. Not that a million people watch this, but a lot of people will watch this, and that's why I wanted you to talk a little bit about
Yep.
the specifics of what that'll be about, because maybe we'll get people interested in the community that want to attend,
Right.
that have those needs.
Yep, I hope so. So, and they also have a lot of different, the SBA runs a lot of different free programs, whether it's through their resource partners or through the SBA itself, that would provide information on their programs and services. So it's good information. I just don't want it to be boring information, that's all. And I
Right.
know the bank will come in and do their bit. They're going to put something together. So they're going to get inserted into the PowerPoint presentation somewhere. We haven't decided where yet. That still needs to be done, but they're on board and they're really looking forward to it, because it's a little bit different than the other programs that they have planned throughout the month, so.
Are you looking to have people register so you know what the attendance will
We
be?
will, yep, and usually they do that. Well, Valerie will typically take registration through the chamber. I do registration through Seed, or I can't remember if I did it through Seed or my personal email the last time, but it doesn't matter. Either way, I'll be a point of contact. The SBA wouldn't, I'd rather keep them out of it because they're not local to here, so I think it's easier if people
see.
can respond to somebody that's local and somebody they may be more familiar with. Eastern Bank is going to promote the program at their branches. So, I don't know. Hey, Mitz. Bye. Bye. I don't know if they'll take registration. I think probably between Valerie and I, we can handle that. But yeah, they definitely, because we need to know for food. And
Yeah.
I'd want to know for seating anyway, and handouts and stuff like that.
Now, do you want people from the committee to attend that, or?
I would hope so, because
Yeah.
I
We did
think,
last time, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and Aaron would, I don't know whether, who came to the, you and I were there for the marketing one, and you were there.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody else came for the marketing one, but
Is
I
that the
think.
one at Loon Pond? I think I-
No, we had it at the
Okay.
library.
Oh, okay.
But
No,
the
I don't-
Small Business Summit, we pretty much
no, I didn't
all
go to that.
attended. The summit that we did a
that
couple
was
of
what I'm
years
thinking
ago.
of,
Yeah, and that
yeah.
was during Small Business Month
Okay.
in May. So I was thinking about reaching out to Keiko and see if she would want to
Yeah,
attend.
absolutely,
And
definitely.
Mike Rodricks, because if they're free, that always tends to draw people too, because if I can list them on the flyer, that automatically generates interest.
Right, and I think it's good to give them, I mean, you never know. I mean, when they've been to events, not necessarily our events, but any events that I've been with them at, they'll always give an update from a legislative perspective as to what
Yes.
might be happening and what they might be working on that could benefit whatever the topic is,
Small
in this
business.
case, small business.
Right, which is another reason why I want him to scale back, because if I can give other people some time to, whether it's give an update or, just say a few words, it's always a good thing, and it tends to be a draw. So I'll reach out
Yep.
to her and Mike and see if they're available.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious, what's the interaction then with the SBA? That's a federal program?
Yeah.
How does that interact on a state level?
You mean how the SBA interacts with,
Well, how does it, I guess I'm just, I'm asking this again, almost for the explanation, for the sake of people that might be watching this,
Yeah.
like, if you're involved with an SBA
representative?
representative for the sake of financing, obviously
Yeah.
you're dealing with the SBA, but you're also dealing with a local lender.
You're not really dealing with the SBA, because the SBA doesn't lend any money.
Right.
So.
But so do you want to explain
Yeah.
the relationship?
So, the SBA has their programs in place that banks take advantage of, because the banks will lend money, but they in turn will get a guarantee from the government on their money. So, but then, that's where we become involved also as a certified development company, because we're essentially a conduit from the SBA to the small business population. So, Seed is a little bit different than other certified development companies in the area, because we provide technical assistance, and we also have loan programs that provide financing to even as small as if somebody wants to start a home-based business and just need like $1,000 to buy office equipment or something, because they're going to operate out of their home office or whatever. We can do that, but we can also go up as high as $5 million under our commercial real estate program. So as far as the SBA is concerned, the banks use the SBA for their guarantee on the money that they lend out. And then the SBA uses certified development companies like Seed as a conduit to be able to facilitate their loan programs. So it's a little bit, I guess a lot of people think that the SBA lends money, and they don't.
Right,
So, right.
No, that's why I appreciate the explanation, because I think it's important, when anybody's starting a business or trying to expand one, and if they haven't dealt with these programs, it can be a little distracting. No, it can be candy break.
Hi.
Congratulations, Katie.
That's funny.
Getting new young blood into the system. Right, Rita?
That's right.
Yeah, so anyway, that's,
So that's why I thought
Yeah.
it would be helpful for
yeah.
Lori to explain how all that stuff interacts, because people may not know, and they may not even know what the SBA does. So I think it's important, as kind of a primer for the understanding of this particular event that,
Yep.
and I'm sure that they'll explain that too.
Oh, yeah,
event,
absolutely,
but-
yes.
No, that's helpful. So our next meeting is really the meeting before this event. When do we want to have that? Do we want to try to stick to that first Tuesday? Do you think you'll have everything in place that you
Oh,
want by
yes.
then?
Yeah, I will have it done within the next 2 weeks because I want to make sure that I give Valerie adequate time to promote it, because I know that she doesn't have an admin, well, unless she hired somebody. Did she? No. So she doesn't really have an admin person right now, so it's probably taken her a bit longer. Excuse me, and I just like to make sure that we give people a month anyway.
What
notice.
time will the event be?
I think I had booked from 5:30 to maybe 8. I think.
Okay, so May 24th at 5:30.
Yeah, 5:30 to 8. The room is booked from 5:30 to 8. So it's only 2.5 hours. I mean, if we had time at the end, then people would certainly have an opportunity to network. But I figured if I can get Keiko in or Mike to attend, and then you to speak, and Valerie to speak, and the bank's going to speak. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Have you reached out to Mike and Keiko yet?
not yet. No.
All right, so then you want to target...
That's next.
No, I'm sure their schedules get filled up.
That's what I
Probably
mean, and
more
it's
so
the end of
Mike's.
May,
Yeah.
so I'll
Do-
reach out to her.
Do we want to
tomorrow.
target Tuesday the 2nd as the next meeting at 6:30? Does that work for everyone?
Sure.
I'll post EDC for both, though, for that and the small business,
24th.
in case we have a quorum at that.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
You can post this EDC event at the library tomorrow if you'd like. So as avoid any hiccups with it maybe not getting posted.
Well, the official website is my problem.
All right, so we'll shoot for May 2nd for our next meeting. And again, that's May 24th for the workshop. Do we have any old business we want to talk about?
No, I think I was supposed to, one of the things that I have not done yet is I was supposed to reach out to Steve Clancy. He's the broker
Oh,
for
Steve.
the Lakeville Hospital property.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I was supposed to reach out to him in order to find out whether he would agree to have the hospital property highlighted in the next Mass Office of Business Development newsletter, but I have not done that yet, so I need to. I
Okay.
think I kind of need to take care of that.
And you were
No,
going
there's
to...
really we won't hold you accountable for that.
I know, but I don't like to not do something that I say.
I'm more interested in the event than Steve Clancy.
Yeah.
But if you by all means, feel free to reach out
Yeah,
if
I
you
was
want to.
I was gonna do that, and then the other thing that we had talked about is having the Maria Marasco come to one of our meetings, because she's the regional director for the Mass Office of Business Development that
Yep.
covers Lakeville. So we were gonna invite her to a meeting. I certainly could invite her to the May 2nd meeting, or I could also invite her to attend on the 24th.
Yeah, either way, or both.
Yeah, I can do both.
Make sure she knows, though, that the SBA folks are going to give a long, boring presentation, and that she shouldn't.
She shouldn't duplicate.
Right. Thank you, SBA, for that long, boring presentation. Now we have someone else who's going to do something very similar and just as boring.
Well, and if anything, I know Joan will probably, will say a few words, because she's the district director for the Rhode Island
Yep.
SBA. So I asked her if she wanted to do the presentation, but I think because she's in Rhode Island, she doesn't really want to step on the toes of the Massachusetts
Mm-hmm.
people. But it'd be good to have her say a
State
couple of
sovereignty
words.
issue.
Yeah. So,
Even though
We're a
it's
state,
federal.
we're a commonwealth, so we're all set.
Even though it's a federal agency.
right.
It gets so
Yeah,
confusing. The founding fathers never anticipated such congestion of resources. All right, so, do we have any new business? Oh, hold, please.
Oh, Why can't our
Don't
meetings
pay
be that
attention.
short?
family.
Don't pay attention.
Smile because the cameras are on.
Sorry.
That's okay. This is not really relevant to economic development, but I have in my hands the renderings for the new police station.
Oh,
So
That could be
Oh.
tied to economic
Nice.
development.
I'll pass this around. I think that any meeting I'm in, I want to show these to people to get feedback, because we're in the preliminary schematic phase with the police station. This is the floor plan, or actually, this is probably the best. This is
Thing to
the
look
renderings
at.
itself, but then this is the layout
Of the
on
inside.
the lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the building here, this is the parking, this is the outbuilding, so there's a separate schematic for the carport
Garage, yeah.
outbuilding. This is what we're calling phase 2. This won't happen when we build the police station, but this is an idea to take what is now a dirt parking lot with a pile of asphalt and tree stumps in it and turn it into an actual parking lot. So you can look at this too.
How many cars?
This one has 135 spaces, but it could be configured to even have more, depending on how we wanted to do it.
But it's just for the police station.
No, that would be for the soccer fields.
Oh, okay.
And
gravel
overflow,
parking lot
it
right
would be
now.
the overflow for the police station, because in this room here is a community room for meetings and whatnot, town meetings and stuff, so. This is the public entrance here.
Is
And then
that
this is-
specifically was put here for town meetings? So
Yeah,
that
it's-
they
it's-
shift from here to there?
Not necessarily all of them, but
Oh.
we'll have flexibility with that. It's police training and community meeting room. So,
That's nice.
that's why eventually we want to have that phase, we call it phase 2.
The access walk to the fields.
Yes.
Work the other way. Disorderly conduct, they can bring him right to the police station.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. It's the carport.
Prisoner processing. Well, they do have 3 cells.
Right. There'll be a few minor changes to this prior to it being finalized. One of the changes is that there'll be a prisoner exit that comes out of the back, because we
So
don't
they don't
want them
have to
coming
walk
through the
all the way
public.
through.
But we
Like,
also,
if they get tired of staying in the cell, they can just leave anytime.
Right.
They have their own
How many
exit.
cells are there?
3.
Three.
3?
It's 3 cells. Prisoner processing area, an interview room. That's kind of cool.
we
I
can
have
see
that
them.
one handicap now, I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
And female, male.
Oh, that's true.
For the locker room, you mean?
No, for that too.
Oh,
but
for the
cells.
prisoners, that's
Yeah.
right.
You know, and they have to have sound and sight,
Equal opportunity.
a lot of requirements now.
Make
The
sure our
radio
prisoners
tower.
are comfortable.
Radio tower.
it's true. Comfort is really the main concern with this whole facility. Comfort of the prisoners.
You know, it's usually a traumatic experience when you get arrested, so
Right.
put them in a good, definitely
I
safe.
think security. for
Rob, do
that.
you want to
Relaxing
provide us
area.
with some feedback about that?
Great job.
Yoga classes.
No,
if
when
they-
you have been arrested.
That's
You were a
fine. No,
prisoner.
Laurie, that is another thing.
I just want the place to have
Ma, she didn't mean
good
that.
running water and toilets and.
No, listen, I'm all, listen, put the prisoners in a,
Why
Yeah,
you
keep
dredging
it
us
classy.
the past?
Okay.
Sorry. Jeez. You know?
I'm sorry.
Walked into that one. Okay.
You did.
I did. I'm like,
The
what do you
door
mean?
was
Yeah,
wide
that's
open
awesome.
and I just had to go through.
This design was based on a needs assessment that the architect did. So before he even put tech pencil to paper, he went and spent a day or two at the police station talking with the chief, measuring the existing facility, talking with him about the process by which they do police work and their needs for space and all of that. And he came up with a kind of a gross square footage, room by room. And then, of course, the schematic design, he tried to get as close as he could. But then what's funny is he provided this comparison. Did you look at this? And nothing's
gotta be
really
laughable.
even that close. I shouldn't say that. Everything's sort of close, but it's just funny. I think it's funny that the design sort of mirrors the need, but then at some point it becomes the design. You know what I mean? And if you didn't notice, the cue that we gave him was the library. So, you know, the similar architectural cues, we wanted it to look similar to the library in terms of the layout.
The Council on Aging, too?
The New England,
Yeah.
Yeah, the newer buildings in town. We didn't
Yeah.
want this to look significantly different. You know, we wanted it to fit in,
Great idea.
so you have a similar look.
So when
wanted
you
a
get
little
arrested,
bit
you feel like
different
you're going
roof
to the
line
library.
than what they have
Prison
now.
of comfort, we're just
Good.
concerned
That
about
Reading out a book.
making sure
Or
these
70s.
criminals are happy.
Yeah,
So they're going to share the driveway with the park, the entrance?
they will. So there'll be a shared public entrance, but then there'll be a police business only exit.
Exit.
So that typically the police don't have, they're out patrolling. So they come and go through the regular public, you know, for 90% of the time. But if there is an emergency and they need to get somebody, you know, they need to get access to a roadway, they'll have another means of doing so here, which they need anyway, but this is a one-way. This isn't in, this is, makes it easier for us to get a curb cut on a state road to do it this way. So that's the update for that. From an economic development standpoint, I'll tie this all back in. We're gonna run the water line up from the corner of, say, the old town hall. And what we're proposing is running it past this over to here, where there'll be a hydrant, and there'll be the potential for further expansion down 18 if Taunton wants to do so. So there's the potential of that to happen now. Obviously, there's a whole lot of development beyond that point, and there may never be, who knows. But I did notice that there's a plaza going in past Miledy's
Yeah, on the left.
spot on the same
The
side.
house on the hill,
That's his spot, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
He owns that, yeah.
Who does?
He does.
Oh, he
Malik.
does?
Yeah,
Oh, he's putting in another one.
yeah,
Oh, I
Another
didn't realize
plaza?
that.
yeah.
He moved the house
Really?
that was there down to the
Right,
corner.
yeah, I know they've
of
been
the-
doing a lot of work there.
And now they've moved the garage. I don't know where the garage went.
I
I
don't
think
know.
I think they just demoed the garage.
They did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did they do, move the ranch?
It's down the street,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's on the corner of,
Good Lane
Crooked Lane,
Crooked Lane?
yeah.
And
and
18?
18. It's
Yeah.
been there for a couple
A
of years.
house burned down there, and
Yeah.
they moved it.
Oh. Interesting. What's he going to put in that plaza?
Well, that, this
There's a
is the
sign of
first
it, it's a
I
strip
heard.
mall. It looks similar to what is there now.
It's just commercial and,
Something that prisoners would be
Forget
interested in. So when they leave their cell, it's not a far.
No, actually, you know those
Stuff on
stores where the prisoners make stuff and then they sell them?
There you go.
There's one of those in Maine.
We're gonna have a
License
cottage
plates?
industry. We're gonna be.
License
Lakeville's
plates.
gonna be the
Wooden,
new
like bird
prisoner.
houses.
yeah, they're
and-
going to be
lamps
rolling, they're going to be
and
rolling little
surgeons.
marijuana cigarettes.
There you go.
No, they could sell prisoner goods.
Shanks. Oh, they make them in, never mind.
Files.
I wouldn't know.
It's gonna be funny watching this.
Indian ink tattoos.
This is what happens when we don't have a very rich agenda. Great stuff to talk about.
So, anyway, that's the update on the police station. So, as new information comes about relative to this, I'm going, like I said, I'm going to try to update boards because I know people are interested in it. And I also think that it's helpful to get people talking about it so that when we do the vote for the debt exclusion, which will be in June 6th, and then town meeting is June 12th, that people will be aware of it and participate in that. That's why I'm mentioning it.
What do we have for turnout
For what?
for, on Monday? Voting.
460 something.
486. 6.3% of the 7,722 voters.
Wow.
We only have a little over,
Paltry
we only have, we have under
6.3%.
8,000 registered voters.
Yes,
What's the population's?
11,000.
11,602, something like that. Well, Middleborough only had 6% turnout on theirs.
Yeah, I know,
They
I
have
saw that.
Contested.
17,000.
They had a contested race too for
Contested race is
selectmen.
on the ballot. We had only, our contested stuff was all write-ins last minute.
Right?
Yeah, that was.
Jesse the Body Medford lost. The Park Commission write-in. Back to wrestling. Anyway.
Would you like a motion to adjourn, or do you want to,
No, we can adjourn.
you want a motion, or you're just going to adjourn us?
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
My second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.